far we've come.
Indeed we have.
Has it been 10 years? Is it 2004 when you started at the Science Center? So almost 10 years?
Almost 10 years. Next September.
And you came and you were looking for new opportunities for your career. What drew you to the Science Center, and why were you looking for a change?
What drew me to the Science Center was a career builder's ad. And really, it was the main reason was it was coming downtown. The Science Center was in Greenwood Park initially. And I did some homework and found out they're building a brand new Science Center downtown. And the job wasn't perfect description of what I was looking for, but I knew there was elements in there, and that's kind of what led me to meet you that day in 2004.
We were in kind of a challenging environment because it was new, and we didn't know what the new Science Center was going to bring, and we didn't know what the job requirements were going to be. And I feel like we had to come together in kind of an unstable environment.
Right.
You were one of the first people that I interviewed and hired in my professional career as a manager. You were one of the first people that I interviewed and hired.
Wow.
I know, yeah. And so we were kind of making it up as we went along. And I can remember a few meetings where you and I would both storm out the door because you weren't getting what you needed from me and I wasn't getting what I needed from you, and it took us a while.
Right. Like all good relationships do, I suppose. And to this day, I think the beauty of our relationship is we don't agree all the time.
Yeah.
We can go back and forth, and I think we both walk away, reflect, and then come back to the table with the understanding of where the other person was coming from.
Yeah.
But we were very much in transition, but that was really exciting about the Science Center to me, because it was a blank canvas. We had a lot of talented, skillful people around us, support from the community, support from a lot of leaders in the community. So it was just a really exciting time to be there.
You challenged me.
Right.
And I think there are a lot of young professionals that don't do that. I think there are a lot of young professionals that come in early in their career and just nod and say yes, yes, yes. And you didn't do that, and I admire that about you. It totally drove me crazy sometimes. But I really admired that about you, and I think that's something that other young professionals need to find, that right middle ground between voicing their opinion in a way that they can be heard without crossing the line and telling your boss that they're an idiot for asking you to do it a different way. And I felt like that was a tone that you really brought to the table that I think other people could learn from. I still use our discussion about the cupcakes and going to pick up the cupcakes every week for the birthday parties at the Science Center, and how demoralizing that was as a part of your job. But it had to be done, and you did it. But every job has its cupcakes, and you were able to articulate. I think a lot of people can't say, this is the part of my job that saps my energy. This is the part of my job that I know I have to do, but it exhausts me.
Right.
You gave me an opportunity as a supervisor to really understand what your challenges were and what the places were that were taking your energy away, so that I could adjust and modify as appropriate within the job description and given what we had to do. Every job has its cupcakes, but you were able to say, the cupcakes are killing me, let's figure out something else.
Right. Well, thank you for outing me, Sally. None of my friends or colleagues knew I picked up the cupcakes every day.
Well, I did it before you did it, so I know what it's like.
But that just goes back to, as employers are recruiting and hiring people, give them the real job description. You said, Fridays you're going to have to go to Walmart and pick up the cupcakes. And my friends who I talked to about the job and my parents, I was like, I'm really involved in the community, I'm doing all these great things. They never heard me saying, I go to Walmart and pick up cupcakes every Friday. I mean, anyone who's ever worked with me knows I don't like to be in the office. I just feel it's constraining, and for my skill sets, my wife is kind of, how do I say this? I'm very outgoing, she's very reserved. So she always tells me she gets her energy from kind of being quiet and reading a book, and she gets her energy from that. I get my energy from being around people, moving around, talking to different types of people, lots of contact with others, sharing information, feeding off energy. And so being out in the community really allows me to do that. We're sitting in an office, I feel kind of zaps my energy in some respects. And so that was a part of the Science Center that I thought was really exciting, is that I could go out and motor around the community on behalf of the Science Center, a really organization that you could be proud of to be a representative of at that time. And one thing I learned from you was, if you're lucky enough in life in life to get the spotlight, then you should share that spotlight with others. You allowed me to go around. I tell the quick story. At the Science Center, we started a young adults event to try to get YPs down to the Science Center. So we started a thing called SCI After 5. And our first SCI After 5 had the Nadas performing. I'm 25 years old and I'm sitting in my cubicle with my headphones on. You come flying out and you say, Brian, you want to do a live interview at WHL? I said, yeah, let's do it. She's like, get in your car and go over there now. So I'm like, okay. I'm driving over there and I'm thinking, I know what they're going to ask. They're going to say, Brian Waller from the Science Center, how are you? Thanks for being here. And in my mind, I'm thinking, how do I answer that? Great to be here. Thanks for having me. Great to be here. Thanks for having me. So I get there. They button me in. We go live. Brian Waller from the Science Center, how are you? I look at the camera and I say, well, it's great to have me. And just crickets. But I remember coming back to the office and you just gave me a high five and a hug and said, good job. And beyond that, you let me to keep doing it even though I made a fool out of myself and I still get teased about that. But that was just a really good moment where you pushed me out and said, go. If you make mistakes, keep going.